Hi guys, this is Stoya here. This is my chart that I made in warbands. Crit elemental spectral throw with dual claws. And let's start the explanation of the guide with gear, which gears I use and why I use them. We are using claws in this build because claws has so much synergy with blood magic builds, in my opinion. They have life gain on it, implicit, noble claws or imperial claws are best. For example, for this build, and the claws I have are pretty much similar: flat cold damage, flat lightning damage, attack speed, crit chance, crit multi, and open prefix for weapon elemental damage. And these claws are best for this build because you have so much crit chance, and crit multi on weapon helps so much because you can stack so much in the tree, which saves you super much points. And weapon elemental damage prefix from Wagon will boost your Rod, Herald of Thunder and Ice DPS a lot. I mean, these claws are best for this build, and the reason they don't have fire damage is fire status alignment is not cool for us. Cold freeze, lightning shocks, so I prefer cold and lightning, but if you find with fire and cold, fire and lightning, they still work so well because Herald of Ice will freeze everything when you crit if the map mode is not immune to status elements. And these are the claw I have, and I prefer the claws over daggers because claws have so much synergy for this build. They are faster than daggers after nerfs on daggers, and they have life gain on it, which totally removes your blood magic issue. 18 here, totally 36. And when you attack so fast, even you drain your life fast, these spectrals will hit mobs and you will gain insane life. So, and let's talk about the synergy between the tree and the total build. And you have total 36 life gain on it here, 25 life gain on it, kill from S-Spark, which will apply with curse on it, Hail of Thunder and Ice for most mobs. And in the tree, people generally don't like this hired killer, but it works so well for us. 20 life gain on kill from here, 5 from Blood Siphon. We have totally 25 life gain on kill, 25 from S-Mark, 36 life gain on it. So we are pretty safe while using our skills, and we are super fast at clearing, so we have zero issue with the blood magic gem, and it allows you to stack auras on our mana easy, but this will cost binding all gems with blood magic, which is sad, but best way to work this guy. And after claws, let's talk about the helm spot, which is restless, pretty much best in slot for this build, and attack based crit builds, in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty much well known item, but don't hesitate to use Starconia. This item I bought for 2 chaos, and it has flat dexterity, attack speed, crit chance and life, which is pretty solid. I'll net 5.4k life if I switch this, but I can now. I have a rat on this, and pretty much same colors. As you can see, if I want to switch them around for hard map modes or I want to be safe, I raise my HP, and flat dexterity is not bad, it gives you more accuracy. And the glow slot is pretty much okay for this build. High life, resistance to vegetate, coil, resist requirements because I was using evasion armor with high resistance. Then I switched to coil because I had 16 coil and I wanted to try it, and this coil works best for our build. Anyway, I'll tell you later. And attack speed is pretty mandatory on glows. As you can see, I crafted attack speed. I bought this for 20 chaos or 15 chaos, I don't remember, to match resist and life I lose from changing coil. I mean, it's pretty much okay thing, nothing imba. Of course you can use Marigaros if you want. If you match the resist lose from lightning coil, it's best in slot for this build. More crit chance, which close lack on the tree and itself. I mean, Maligaros is best, but at this point I don't need Maligaros. I mean, coil is better for high-end game maps. Evasion is not meta anymore for the high physical damage rolls on the maps. And belt is pretty much, leather belts are best for us. I like strength rolls on belts because I want to use 20-20 Enduring Cry to mitigate the Blood Rage, and pure damage reduction from 3 Enduring Charges is not bad. If I get 2 more levels, I'm gonna sure 3 more levels, I'm gonna get more Enduring Charge or 1 more into 2 leap gem here to get vigor on my build. So getting endurance charge is not bad. So, and you can use rallying cry for more damage. It's your call. I like enduring cry anyway to mitigate blood rage degeneration. And this is the belt I crafted with elemental damage for it, for sure, to synergize the R build. These boots are self-mount. You don't need movement speed, but it's good to have. Anyway, you can always whirling blade out of the danger. Resist, life, and movement speed. Movement speed is not necessary, so boots are your last concern on the gear. And I just recommend one of these pieces is armor evasion, so it's easy to chrome for the Molten Strike for your single target. Molten Strike is not needed, but speeds up the mapping process. When you face the boss, you open Blood Rage, you keep your Wall Haste or Wall Grace to boss and go ham on the bosses. And Blood Rage gem is in my weapon slot, so if I don't like it, I don't like to degem my life, I just switch it, zips up, that's it. And this ring, 4 rings, you'll really need intelligence if you don't want to get Whispers of Glade on the tree, Wisdom of Glade on the tree. So weapon elemental damage, flood elemental damage, accuracy, resist, life, I mean pretty much easy. Attack speed also helps, HP. These are the rings I have. This cost me 20 chaos. This is gift from my friend. Probably it's for more than 4 exalt in my opinion. It's pretty insane ring. This is the amulet. I really like Agate amulets, but if you can get strength intelligence on other amulets, it's not bad. And crit chance, crit multi. You can always get amulet with crit multi and craft crit chance on it, and life resist on it. And this amulet I bought for 7 chaos and exalted fire damage on it, which is pretty sad. I don't like it, but we didn't lose anyway. And I put life on it. And this is pretty much the item explanation. And let's talk about coil. Coil is true damage meditation we have in this build, only true damage meditation if we don't count test of 8, which is not always up because it's just a fucking flask. So coil is best for this build, but evasion armor is pretty solid anyway, and everyone knows what coils does, so I'll skip it quick. And flood lightning damage also helps us. And what else we can say? This is the other gloves I was using for 1 chaos I bought. I mean, I know it's pretty cheap, but anyway, I mean, this is the belt I bought for 10 chaos. This is the glove I bought for less than 10 chaos. This is self-found. I mean, we talked about Starconia, and these are rings cost me less than 5 chaos that I was using for the build. And that's it. And let's talk about flasks pretty quick. I mean, this flask is pretty mandatory, instant flask. When you are in danger, you just pop it and get your HP immediately. I mean, Eternals are best for this instead of Divines because of the second stay last. And Divine Flask, I mean, I pretty much like 1 instant flask and 1 crit flask. You never know when you get trouble, you can recharge your flask with your crit chance, and it has chill and freeze removal. When I want to open box, I click it, I click my 2 and whirling blade away and attack. It's pretty much mandatory to keep these kind of flasks. These 2 I pretty much recommend these two flasks, roll this kind of disc. And I bought Taste of Fate because our main damage is cold, and reflects will gonna hurt if you don't pop your flask immediately. Whenever you see pack, you have to pop your flask and they will refill no problem. And Taste of Fate is another damage mutation we have for physical. I mean, it's not necessary. You can always use normal cold flask or evasion flask. Evasion flask is already also imba, which will net you so much evasion percent, 6% evasion. It feels really quick. I mean, it will be up most of the time. And this flask is pretty mandatory too. One flask with immune to bleeding, because when you see corrupting blood guy, you attack tons of times and you stack 20 bleed on you, and it makes it will you will be in trouble for sure. And this flask is instant, so keeping one flask like this is pretty much mandatory for me. And Acid flask is the only leech we have, cause we don't have physical damage. Blood rage doesn't help us. We have life gain on it, life gain on kill, but with Acid flask you can leech. But in map modes, this is my, for example, elemental weakness flask. If the map mode has elemental weakness, just switch it and get more elemental resistance, easy. And for the boss fights like Marvel and Wall, which deals cold damage, just remove this to keep you in safe. And if you are doing, for example, temple map, or if you see someone casting so much curses on you like necromancer, undead, just switch this. And these are the gems I carry with me. Cooling strike for the nasty bosses that we want to finish as map party, or if I really feel it's so hard fight and I get him low, I just swap cooling strike with GMP. LMP, I generally use GMP, never use LMP for boss, but for boss fights I just switch LMP to deal some more damage. It adds 5.k more damage. And for the narrow maps like Necropolis or Crypt, small maps, keeping LMP would be a good idea. Or if you don't have super good gear in the beginning of or the mid league, you can always use just LMP in this build. And Wall Grace, Wall Haste, we know what they do, so you can switch around them. We can't bind them with increased duration, pretty sad, we don't have slot for it. And Rallying Cry instead of Endurance Cry for YOLO DPS, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm just carrying it for the parties who has conduit guys. And Power Charge on crit for enfeeble map instead of crit damage, to change it to provide your charges up all the time. And for the boss fights, I'll change Power Charge on crit to increase critical gem. And the lively gem, if you really think you will be in trouble in that fight or in that map mode, just remove weapon elemental damage. You are losing so much damage, as you see, around half of your damage is gone, but you will be in safe, no problem. As long as you die, it'll just matter of time to clear maps. So what I have on the switch, I have Haku weapon to level Enlighten and Power if I want, and it doesn't hurt me at all. Item rare to cool bosses. Sometimes Enlighten gem is level. Faster projectile instead of GMP if I really want to snipe bosses from miles away, as you can see. So what else I carry is Flame Lash with Blood Magic, because some maps like Shrine you really want to TP in one spot to another, and Edit Cold also gives insane damage boost if I really want instead of GMP. And let's talk about the jewels I have. I bought Intuitive Leap to get Survivalist to boost my evasion, because I lost so much evasion from changing armors, and it gives resist, and maximum cold resist doesn't hurt. I get one more frenzy charges because I have pretty much more life than I used to have, and I'm using Blood Rage more efficiently now, so one more frenzy charge doesn't hurt in the tree. It gives more damage and attack speed, acuity, why the hell not, attack speed and accuracy and flat dexterity. So Intuitive Leap is best slot for this build in here, or if you really go hardcore with this kind of build, I'll use Intuitive Leap here and get Claw and Chain and Vigor instead of this area. And Static electricity is another jewel that I use for this build. It gives insane damage for this build. It's pretty much mandatory. In my opinion, it's pretty cheap jewel anyway. I found more than 5 in this league, and this slot is the best for the build. And the other jewels I use are crit chance to raise my crit, life, intelligence, strength, projectile damage, attack speed. Everything works. These jewels are less than 15 chaos that I bought, and I'm using this is 2 chaos. I regaled attack speed, and these are my jewels that I bought for 5 chaos. Increase attack speed with close, projectile damage, attack speed while dueling, increase damage, global crit chance, accuracy. These are the jewels that you really want in your build. Intuitive leap is not mandatory. It's something cool to have. Just I want to say that it's just cool, but it's not mandatory. I just bought it today to test, and it works great. And to match coil resistance issue with Cloud and Chain and Survivalist. Matter of Flames is pretty much recommended if you run maps with Aurobot. It gives me more damage even here, but it's pretty small, not worth to use life and crit chance. So if you are mapping with an Aurobot, just use it. It will boost your damage insane. And let's talk about which build is the best, which char is the best to start this build. I pretty much like evasion, life, build, and dead attack speed, advantage of ranger. But as you see, we are on the same side as shadow. If you really think that leveling Spectral is hard, you can always level with something else. I mean, elemental EK, totem, anything you want. If you go shadow, it's pretty easy. And Scion start is promising. Always I think same because of the third crit multi in here. But if you go shadow or Scion, I wouldn't go this place and grab this life note. And for the general build, if you really want to go hardcore with this build, I'll just use star coin instead of resistance and remove these points, or maybe some other damage points on the tree, for example this part, and stack more life, or maybe even go Scion wheel. And let's talk about notables we got. We use this pet, and finance is the accuracy, attack speed, heart of the oak, life regeneration, and maximum life is pretty awesome for us. And we have another life regeneration from Golem slot and Master of the Arena. People always skip Master of the Arena, but it's something insane. Strength, more life, and we don't get benefit from other things, and the life regeneration helps us to use Blood Rage, and it's fucking 1 point, just get it. And let's talk about Art of the Gladiator. Pretty much self-explanatory. Ignore movement penalty from armor, so we are fast even with these armor pieces. And it has attack speed, accuracy, and furry balls helps so much for your damage. And Cloud and Chain is, I want to stack more evasion after losing these high evasion chests, and you get resist from here, easy to gear. And when you're leveling these kind of chars, always get these beef and wisdom of Clade until you find something really good. Ring and amulets. Plus strength and intelligence is always good, and this jewel socket is pretty much mandatory for us. And twin terrors to raise our crit chance. Thick skin is awesome for HP. Herbalism helps you about life recovery from your flask, and it's pretty much so high when you put this. And what else? Ballistic mastery and sniper. You'll have so much projectile speed, which will result you to Spectral throw so straight locations. And people always ask me that why I don't go here or why I don't go here. Going this part is pretty much mandatory for this kind of build because we are stacking more crit chance. Life gain on kill is pretty awesome. Harrier and this jewel slot. This area is pretty cool to have in this build. And shadow elemental damage area boosts our total elemental damage, boost our damage insane. Soul siphon, I told it before. Life gain on kill, synergy, and we get movement speed from quickness, and coordination gives us insane attack speed. These clusters give these assassination and small crit chance are pretty good for us. Static stacking accuracy is so much important for your crit and landing crits and life in here. People tend to use this and forget this intelligence, but binding 3 from here will save you 10 more intelligence. You have already so much dexterity and crit and power charge here and more crit from here. This is the explanation of 3. Of course you can modify it. You are the tailor here. You just skip here, you just skip these 3 and save more points to grab here and grab here, or if you are going shield 1, go here, but I wouldn't recommend going shield, which will kill your DPS a lot. Or what you can do is getting more crit here, getting more crit here, and more accuracy here, maybe movement speed here. Primal Spirit is one of my favorite, but sadly we don't have mana to use, but it's with Druidic Rite and Primal Speed you keep your flasks up all the time. And what else we can add to this build? And yeah, bandits I go for life for sure, walk. And in Cruel I used to have attack speed, but I changed it to skill point. I mean, it's pretty much if you go ranger or scion, I would get skill point because you already have 8 attack speed if you really desire to get from here, and it save you 1 point to modify your 3 for higher levels. If you go past level 90s like me, I'm level 95, so physical damage doesn't help you, so skip walk for the Cruel. And for the Merciless is pretty much obvious, we go for the power charge. People really want to stack max friends charge in this build, but don't forget it will cost you so much points, which build is a lot point hungry in my eyes than other builds. I would never stack more frenzy charge. It will result you 3 points from here, 2 points from here, it's 5 points. If you don't use intuitive leap here, it's just fucking 7 points. For what? For a blood rage. We don't have physical damage, it's so hard to mitigate it. Even with the synergy that I told with claws and life gain on kill from S-Mark, I would just never ever do that. I mean, it's my point, it's my playstyle, of course it's your call. And we skip this area after using coil. I was gonna say that I totally got these points while I'm using evasion armor to help me, but after coil I kinda feel that saving 4 points in other DPS or survivalist evasion area, Cloud and Chain, would be better for me, and it worked quite well in high-end game maps. That's all guys. If you want to ask question about the build, this is my Almost Wonder is my in-game name, and here is the defensive part of the build. Evasion rating is pretty low after evasion armor, but it used to have super high before it. Never mind, coil is pretty awesome. If you have it, use it. If you don't have it, 5 link evasion armor doesn't even hurt you. And this is life regeneration amount I have without 3 endurance charge, and these are my resist. I'm kept all everything, and I have 0 chaos resistance. No brainer here without shield, and with crit chance it's so hard to stack them. Pretty crap block chance thanks to Acro, don't even count it. We have good stun recovery, stun avoidance, and we have good movement speed modifier. And what else? Let's talk about the attack part. This is unbuffed damage, 30k, 92 chance that, but my flat accuracy is so high, so I'm pretty much kept in 82 maps. Attack speed without blood rage is 6, and with blood rage is 6.5 around. And my crit chance is 63.2, which is pretty high. I'm around 85 crit chance with power charges or something like that, which is pretty cool for the claws. I should divine my claws for more crit chance and multi maybe later. I'm not a perfectionist guy, but if you really want to, you can craft your own claw, which will be super hard anyway. And what we have in here is life gain on hit, and it's pretty much important life gain on kill in here. And we have so high dexterity, enough intelligence to run rat. We have 0 benefit from intelligence, and I have pretty high strength, which is cool to run Enduring Cry, and which will result to high HP pool. And let's talk about the auras. I forget it. Sorry. Level 21 rod to boost your elemental damage. I bought it for 2x. It was pretty cheap, and I just wanted to bought it. And I gave my 21 rod to my friend. And Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice is pretty much mandatory for this build to stack your damage. We don't get benefit from Ash, and running one anger will give you the same damage, but we have awesome synergy here with Curse on it, which will save us 1 point in here. Of course, if you really want, you can also use Lost Devotion for the 7 link in the build, but I just really don't like Lost Devotion in this build anyway. And we curse with this. That's all, guys. If you really want to ask another questions, post on the guide or ask me in game name. I'm just gonna try to help you. See you.